Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Chaos, and today I'll be showing you guys my build for a level 20 Salarian Architect in multiplayer. So, for everybody that has this character, they already know, but for those of you that don't, the Remnant VI is broken with this character. I've noticed when I was using him that he just wanders off and disappears most of the time, and he's really weak. It takes him forever to take down any kind of enemy, even the just unshielded enemies. So, I didn't really invest into him. And the reason about him wandering off and stuff, why I think that's broken is because he has an ability, the close combat module, which makes it so he engages enemies at a close range, but he already does that anyway. So even without this skill, he just wanders off and disappears, and he just goes for the closest enemy he can, and he'll just stay there attacking it until it dies or until he dies. So this thing is really not useful, and I don't even recommend even putting any skill or any points into the skill tree. Just don't even go for it with this character. So right away, I went for the barricade instead. This gives so much survivability with this character. It's very useful. This character, he's not meant to really be in close quarter situations. He's not supposed to be in a group of enemies and stuff. He's not really good at surviving like that. So I recommend going for the barricade because when you're getting shot at or anything, it's very good to just throw down the barricade and hide behind it. Most of the time, the enemies ignore you. I don't know if that's why they're what they're programmed to do, but if you just stay down, you can even just shoot over the cover without aiming, and most of the time the enemies just ignore you. They don't even go for you. So for this, we're going to the skill tree. Um, I didn't max it out all the way yet. I might do that when I get this character maxed out at level 10, but I only have him at level 1 right now. So on rank 4, I went for the duration on the barricade just because more duration is real good, and I like to use this thing for to block doorways and stuff. It's really good to throw down when you're doing an objective like hacking or something, and you're in a little room. You can throw it down in the middle of a doorway, and it'll actually block off that doorway, and the enemies will not go through it. They won't jump over it. The only thing that mostly does are the big giant guys like hydras. They'll kind of kick it down. But other than that, no enemies will even cross it. If you're blocking off the doorway, they'll just go around and just go find a different entrance. So I mostly go for the duration because it's really good for the objectives. Like I said, you just throw it down in the doorway and you can block it, and then you could just worry about the other side and don't even have to worry about the first entrance that you blocked. So the next one, I went for the weapon feedback over power feedback. For this, it's just a general preference. When I throw this down, there's most of the time there's enemies right in front of me, so I like to use my gun and get the 15% extra damage, and it also gives it to any ally using the shield. But you can go for the power and force damage by 20%, upgraded by 20% if you want to. That's just a preference, like I said. And next, for the incinerate, max this out all the way because this one you can prime enemies, and then at the end you can also trigger the combo detonations, which is really good because this character has like a cryo gauntlet, so you can melee unshielded enemies and they'll freeze. And you can even melee like the armored enemies a couple times, and they'll kind of freeze over, and you can also trigger the combos on them also. So this is really good just for that. So that's why I went for that. The rank 4, I went for the radius, just because I want to be able to burn more enemies that are close by, and prime more enemies so they can get detonated by either my allies, or whenever incinerate comes back, I can use it again and detonate the enemies. So I went for that over the burning, which does 15% damage over time, 15% more damage over time, and a 30% duration, which you can go for this if you want to, you can hit one enemy and keep him burning longer, so you can um, detonate them, whenever you want, a little later or whatever. So rank 5, I went for the damage versus armor, the 50% extra damage versus armor over the 30% initial damage. Just because it's a fire move, it's incinerate, so it already does 50% damage to armor, and that's what fire is for. So I just did upgraded the damage just for more, get 100% extra damage versus armor, which is really good when you're fighting the outlaws. You can do a lot of damage to the Krogans, the Asaris, and all those special characters that have a bunch of armor. And then, like I said, for the last one, I went for the detonator just so I can trigger combo detonations with it because that's pretty much what this character is useful for. It's just priming enemies and then detonating them. So I would definitely go for this over the launching two projectiles because, like I said, definitely this is what this character is for is the combo detonations. Offensive tech, I had a little bit of points left over when I reached level 20, so I just invested the first two just to get the power damage and weapon damage. But eventually, when I do have this character fully maxed out at level 10, I would like to max this out to at least as far as I can go. Maybe the end. But right now, that's what I have it at. And then support systems, I maxed this one out. Very good, for this character to stay alive. Very good for survivability. So and also for the melee damage because with the crowd gauntlet, that's what you're going to be using mostly is melee for combo detonations and all that stuff. So rank 4, I went for the tech duration just to get 30% to all power effect durations. Just I wonder, I don't know if this affects the barrier, but I think it does. It gives it a 30% extra time, for using it, leaving it out. But I also picked it for the incinerate just to give it more burn time. So you don't need that other skill that on incinerate that also gives burn time. Rank 5, I went for the advanced construction for the max health and shields. You don't have to worry about the 30% tech construct health because we're not even going for the remnant. So I went for that one over the damage resistance. You can go for this one. It's more of a situational use. If you're with a team that might die a lot, this is very helpful. But most of the time, I'm with people that don't really die too much. So I went for the advanced construction just for the more health. And then the last one is shield reset. I went for that over the tech sabotage. This one is very useful for survivability. Once every 10 seconds, when you use a tech ability, your incinerate or your remnant is considered a tech ability. So you use those and it'll recharge your shield immediately. So if you have real low shields and you need it back, you can just use incinerate on an enemy or just throw out your remnant real quick and get your shield back. And what's good about this is even if you get your shield recharge and then you get shot halfway in between your shield recharge, if they don't do enough damage to take away as much as your shield is supposed to give you back, then it'll keep recharging to give you 100% shield. So it won't stop recharging until you have gotten all 100% of your shield, even if you've gotten shot a little bit in between. So kind of like if you had 500 shield and you got brought down to 0, and then you used the incinerate and it started charging your shields back up to 500, and you got shot for let's say 100 damage, it'll keep going until it fully recharges that 500 points. That if you understand what I'm trying to say. So that's why this is really useful. I didn't think it would work like that, but it actually does. So definitely pick this up for this character for their survivability. So for the weapons that I recommend using for this guy, of course the equalizer. This is one of the best pistols in the game. So really good to use, especially with this guy to have the power recharge speed at 100. I also paired it with the Sidewinder for the long range, and you still get the 100% power recharge speed with these two weapons, but you can use whatever you want really. I do recommend to keep the power recharge speed a little low. Don't try to go too massive with the weight because you do want to use incinerate and all that as much as possible because that's what this character is based around. And pair it with the Juggernaut shield if you want, if you have it, just for the extra melee. Because the Cryo Gauntlet is just so great. You can freeze anybody with the Cryo Gauntlet that has no shields, like I said. So definitely Juggernaut shield for the extra damage. Um, Another thing too, the boosters, I would always pair them with the ammo boosters, mostly the cryo ammo because, or it may be the disruptor if you want, but the incendiary kind of messes with the cryo gauntlet. You freeze an enemy and then you'll catch him on fire and he won't be frozen anymore. Kind of messes with it, so I always go with the cryo. And it's really good to just use any kind of ammo for this guy. Any booster just to keep the combo detonations going. So definitely pair with that. All right, guys. So like I was saying, the barrier is so good for this character. I would definitely go for it if you can. because if you're on any level, let's say like this one, and you have the mission, like hack or something in this area. I just recently got it, so this is why I'm showing it as an example. But you have enemies coming from over here, and you don't know what to do because there's that door, and then you have a back door, and let's say you're being surrounded. With the barrier, you could just throw it down right in front of the doorway, block it off, and it's just so great. Like none of the enemies even come near it. They don't even try to hop over it. It kind of seems like it just glitches out the way that the NPCs act. Because there's no more path for them to take. I don't know why that they act like that, but see, then they start just trying to find another route, and they'll always come from the back. And if you have all that duration up, the shield will last so long. Like it just barely went away, and that was about a good 25 seconds or so that the shield will last. And with three of them, you could just keep throwing them down in the doorways, and you could just do the entire mission just like that. But the thing is, you can only have one barrier down at a time. So if you're in a room like I was and it has two doors, if you have two of these, or two of these guys, or any guy that has like the barrier, really good to just throw one down in the doorway and then have somebody throw one down in the other doorway. And you could just sit there the entire time doing the mission, or just doing the objective. And that's why this character is really good. I kind of like him. People say he's a little weak, but most of the time I top golds with this guy because you're getting shot, you throw down the shield, you could just sit behind it. It gives you a shield delay, like a reduction delay when you're recharging your shields of like 40%. So you could just stay behind the shield and you'll keep getting your shields back like 40% faster or so. And even like I said with that support ability, you could just throw out your remnant real quick and you'll get your shields back. And if you're being shot or whatever like that, see, your shield will keep going, but I took too much damage right there, so I didn't keep going back. So I pretty much took more damage than as much shield as I have, so it stopped recharging. But if you don't take more damage, then it'll keep recharging, which is very useful. So that's pretty much it with this guy. You just got to stick to melees, detonations, combo detonations, using incinerate, getting his back as fast as you can. Pretty much just to use it to get your shields back or set off combo detonations. And that's pretty much it with this guy. He's real fun to use. And if you do get him, I do recommend you guys use him. Try to level him up, and do not go for the remnant. Please do not go for the remnant. It's so bad. Just use it to get your shields back. Throw them out, get your shield recharge back, and just blow him up. Let him die, whatever. But he's just so bad. So, if you guys enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.